And we're live. Welcome back for another stream, everyone. How are we all doing today? Good to be back after a couple of weeks off since the last deadline. We've got back-to-back double game weeks, so there's loads to talk about. Lots prepared for this stream. Hope you're all doing well. I saw a nice message in the chat from ABJ. Just realised what your username is. He said, love me some focal, which is why I've got the smile on my face as we went live. So thank you for that. Good to see El Padrino in the chat as well. He was... I think he tuned into my first or second ever stream, and he's still around, so shout out to El Padrino. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you are new around here, hit subscribe, get your questions in the chat. Lots to talk about today. Welcome to the stream. Ahmed, Cheekstar, Milenko, Juini, Andreas, Ishan, Sun, Incognito, Donut, what is his username? Khalid, Dandog, Ben, Connor, Amar, Tor, Razvan, Dinesh, and many, many more. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are all doing very, very well on this Friday. It's a Friday deadline. Hopefully there aren't many out there that aren't aware of that. I've seen many times on the fplfocal Discord, the deadline passes and people were like, oh, I've missed the deadline. I've got my armband on Haaland still. I guess that'd be alright, Haaland, but you know, I've seen worse. Anyway, welcome to the stream, everyone. Teddy's barking in the background at something. Hopefully you can't hear him. So, yeah, I guess one of the hottest talking points for this stream is going to be whether to triple captain or not. If you still got it, in my opinion, this is the week to use it. Basically, if you don't use it now, you probably use it on Haaland in 23, or you gamble that there's going to be a better opportunity later in the season, but that is a gamble. We don't know how the double game weeks will fall later. What we do know is double game week 22 and double game week 23. So if I still had the chip, I would use it now on Rashford 100%. I used mine on Haaland back in game week 20, which ended up a bit of a mistake. He got one goal, but you want more really from a triple captain, and I think Rashford is very likely to get you a couple of returns minimum. But yeah, there's that Villa fixture, which is what Milenko is pointing out, but I actually think they're not going to walk over Villa there. You know, since Emery's come in, he's actually been doing really well in charge of Villa. I think he's managed 7 games. I think they've won 5, drawn 1, lost 1, something like that. So I don't think that's going to be a walk in the park. And then obviously Arsenal's going to be a tough game away. Really, really important game for both teams. So I think this is the best opportunity. Obviously we might end up with a better one later in the season, but you're gambling at that point. And obviously you're gambling that there's not going to be other chips that look better to use. There's loads prepared for this stream, including the future double game weeks and blanks, so we'll talk a bit more about that later on the stream. But yeah, welcome everyone. We've got 750 tuning in already, so hit like, guys. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, get your questions in. How are we doing, Sam? Welcome. Triple captain Rashford or Bruno? Yeah, interestingly, the projections had them pretty closely in terms of how they might score this game week. We'll have a look at those. In fact, let's pull that up now. Have I got that here? Yeah, these are the game week 22 projections from FPL Review. And I'm surprised by this. They've got Rashford and Bruno on par in terms of projected points. They've got Bruno on slightly more expected minutes. But yeah, I was surprised by this. Obviously, Bruno's got the more assist threat, and I suppose Rashford's got the goal threat. Eriksen's obviously out for the season, so maybe we see Fernandes taking more penalties. Set pieces. Maybe he's on penalties as well. We don't know. But yeah, if you want to bet against Rashford, who is going to be the most popular pick, then it is Bruno. I think Rashford's the best pick, personally. I'm surprised that they're so close on the projections, but I think Rashford's better. Mikael, thanks for the super chat. He says KDB, Martial, Martinelli, Nketiah, Bruno and Mitoma. Thirds needs to be a 6.1 mil or less to get KDB back for Bruno. 2 free transfers, so -4 in total. So he's selling KDB and Martial, Martinelli. I like those moves. I think that's going to be a popular set of moves this week. A lot of people are selling KDB for Bruno. A lot of people are selling Kane for Nketiah, and that frees up money to get Bruno. You're doing a similar thing here. Mitoma I would be wary of, just because of the blank in 25. It just depends on the rest of your team. So just check how many players you've got blank in. There's 4... where's the graphic? Sorry. I had a graphic prepared here. There it is. These are the upcoming blanks and doubles. Brentford, Brighton, Man United and Newcastle blank in 25. So I'd just be very careful bringing in Mitoma, especially from -4, because you might leave yourself shortchanged in 25, because we're pretty much all tripled up in Man United. A lot of us have got 1 or 2 Newcastle players. So yeah, I like KDB to Bruno. I've made that transfer myself already, but obviously you have to sell Martial, so I think Nketiah. So it's just, are you saying that you need to sell Martinelli for Mitoma to free up the funds for that? If that's what you're saying, then I would do it, but as long as it doesn't leave you in a very bad position in Gameweek 25, in a nutshell. And there is a fair chance that Brighton double in 26 or 27, maybe both. So yeah, just work out how your future transfers would look. I think that's fine. You want to get back to triple Arsenal though, so just make sure you have a way to do that for double Gameweek 23. You know, you don't really want to sell Martinelli unless you have a way to get triple Arsenal for their double game week, which comes after this one. Jan says bench Ake or Mitrovic. Ake or Mitrovic? That's a difficult one actually, that's close. I'd be inclined to bench Mitrovic, but that's really close. What would you guys do? Bench Ake or Mitrovic? It's close. I think Chelsea are going to really kick on for the rest of the season. They've spent so much money, it's unbelievable. So I think they are going to have a really good second half of the season, Chelsea. You know, they've made signings all over the pitch, including in defence. So, and I saw Reece James is back as well. So I don't know if he starts this one, to be fair, but I think I'd bench Mitrovic. You'd bench Ake? It's away to Chelsea though, that's a tough game. I know Chelsea have been poor, but that's a tough game. Zayab says Almiron to Maris for -4. For -4? Not this week. They're playing away to Tottenham. It's not worth a -4. Almiron's home to West Ham. I know Almiron's been pretty poor, but I don't think I'd take a -4 for that. I would leave it a week and then make the move when they have a double. Andreas, thank you for the 12 months, 1 whole year. Thank you so much for the support there, Andreas. He says, Wasa Bowser, 1 whole year. Thank you, appreciate that, Andreas. Unbelievable. Yeah, if anyone's interested in becoming a member, you get a few perks. Obviously, it supports the channel, but you get early access to my videos. You get a little badge by your name in the stream, in the comments and so on. And there's a private channel on the Discord server for members as well. Thank you, Duncan, for the super chat. He says, thoughts on the wildcard. He's trying to plan up to Gameweek 30. What teams may double and blank when? The wildcard is Kepa, Ward, Gabriel, Ake, Shaw, Trippier, Mings, Erdegaard, Saka, Mahrez, Bruno, Rashford, Haaland, Kane, Nonto, and 0.9 mil. So to answer the question on the potential blanks and doubles, this is a graphic from Mikhail Tokvam, and he's projected the number of fixtures here. So for example, 2 means 2 fixtures, 1.15 means 15% chance of a double game week. Basically, it's difficult because there's a lot of uncertainty here. This hasn't been updated with 25 since the Cup games wrapped up. We do know that these 4 teams blank in 25. Newcastle, Brighton, Man United and Brentford. 28 is the difficult one. There's going to be a lot of blanks, probably the biggest blank game week of the season. So it makes sense to look at players like Mings, who you are. Triple Arsenal makes perfect sense for a variety of reasons. They'll play in 28, as we can see here. They have a double in 23. I haven't really thought too much about a wild card, so it's hard to think that far ahead. Mings is a good pick. Chelsea don't blank either, so you're on the right track there. They've got a fixture in 28 guaranteed. I think I've also got Ben Crellin's graphic, which has the percentage chances. So these are the percentage likelihood of the Game Week 28 fixtures being postponed. And not just on a wildcard, but this is something to have at the back of your head. If you're making transfers in the next few weeks, you want to look at which teams are going to play in 28. Because in my opinion, you shouldn't be free hitting in 25, and ideally you shouldn't be free hitting in 28. I think there's going to be better weeks to free hit, even if it means you end up fielding like 8 or 9 players in 28. So Aston Villa, they play in Game Week 25 against Everton, and they also play in 28 against Bournemouth. Just trying to think what I'd tweak in your wildcard. It's a really good team. I mean, you're hitting all the right players. 0.9 mil. Have you got Triple City? That's only... So you've got Haaland, Mahrez, Ake. I can't think of anything to suggest. It's a really strong wildcard, I'll be honest. I wish I had some things to add to that team. It's a really good wildcard. Hopefully the points I made on the future blanks and doubles helped. And yeah, you're absolutely in the right line of thinking. If you're wildcarding now, you have to be thinking about 22, 23, 25 and 28, which you've done with that wildcard. So it's a really strong team. I really don't have any changes to suggest. Unless you can afford Edison over Ward and then Ake becomes another defender. Just because Ake is still not guaranteed to play all the games, right? I know that Cancelo's gone, so that's good news, but I've got a quote actually I'll share with you guys in a sec on what Pep said on Ake. That's the only thing I'd potentially change if you can, because you know that Edison's going to play the games, whereas Ake might miss one. That was a really long answer to that, so let me just catch up on chat. Where did I get to? Thank you, Ivan, for becoming an fplfocal member as well. Shout out to Ivan. I recognise the name Ivan. It's weird when you guys leave like comments in multiple videos. I start to like spot names who leave like repeating comments. So yeah, Ivan's definitely one of them. Thank you for the support, Ivan. Appreciate that. And also Sean. Sean asks thoughts on White, Ødegaard and Nketiah triple up. White, Ødegaard and Nketiah. Yeah, I'm on Ødegaard and Nketiah. Ødegaard I think is the best Arsenal pick. Nketiah, really solid pick. Long term, the only gamble is what happens when Jesus is back, but that's probably not till like Gameweek 26 or so. So I think Nketiah is really good, really strong pick. For a defender, I think Gabriel's the best. He's got the highest XG this season among defenders, but White's fine. We have seen him come off before 60 minutes sometimes. Who knows what happens if Tomiyasu comes in for one game or something like that. Probably doesn't happen, but I just think Gabriel's the most nailed, the most goal threat. And Jordan says, hi Oscar, Amron to Mudryk or Mitoma for a -4. Not for a -4, not this week. I mean, there's every chance that Mudryk or Mitoma do well, but for a -4, I wouldn't do it. I'd consider it for free. I'd definitely consider it for free, but not for a -4. Again, I know Amron's been disappointing, but he's playing at home against West Ham, who have been really poor. I don't think anyone can confidently say Mudryk or Mitoma outscore Almiron by 4 points. But yeah, Mudryk's definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. I know Sterling's back. That's at the back of my head as well. Or Sterling's back soon. Right, let's do a quick news roundup because there are a few bits and bobs that's been asked in chat, which I think will be helpful to cover now. So we'll start with Man United. The update on Man United is that Dallas returned to training after a 3-week layoff. So something to bear in mind if any of you are looking at Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka might play both games, to be fair. He's been doing well recently, but there is a chance that Dallo comes in for one game. Or if he doesn't come in this double game week, then I would say Wan-Bissaka is a pretty short-term pick. There's every chance that Dallo comes in at some point soon. Chelsea update, James, Chilwell and Sterling and Loftus-Cheek are all back but can't play 90 minutes tomorrow. I don't know about you guys, but there's absolutely no chance I'm going back to Reece James. I've had to sell him twice this season because he got injured. I had to sell him, I think, twice last season as well because he got injured. So good to see him back, but I don't know if I'll go there a third time this season. Some Leeds news. Rodrigo's out for 2 months following an ankle injury sustained in last Saturday's FA Cup tie against Accrington Stanley. This one's really unfortunate because I was actually going to bring him in. Obviously, Leeds have got the double game week. He's their top goal scorer this season. But yeah, he's picked up this injury. He's out for 2 months. So if you've got Rodrigo, get rid. A quick update on Brighton. I know some of you got Ferguson, who picked up a bad looking injury in the Cup. De Zerbi said, we'll see for tomorrow. The injury's not so bad, but he can maybe he can play tomorrow or the next game. So yeah, if you've got Ferguson, that's good news as well. He does blank in 25, obviously, but they might double in 26. So if you can afford to keep hold, I would. And a couple of updates on Man City. Guardiola on the left back position. He said Ake cannot play all games. Laporte can play there. And Rico Lewis can play there. And of course Sergio Gomez. So I think Ake is undisputedly first choice. But there is a chance that he comes out for a game here and there. So going back to that question with the wild card, I would have Edison if I could over Ake for that reason. And the last update is that John Stones is out for 3 to 4 weeks, Guardiola says. So I imagine he'll miss the double game week 23, unfortunately. Harry says, hi Oscar, Botman or White? White, definitely. I'd go White because he doubles in 23 and he doesn't blank in 25. Botman's got West Ham and Bournemouth, which are 2 good games. Then he's got Liverpool. Then he's got blank. And then he's got City. So White, definitely. Flandy says, like the stream. You heard Flandy. Like the stream if you're enjoying it, guys. Thank you. Alright, what did I get to? Bem says, Ødegaard or Martinelli? So, good question. For me, this one's pretty obvious, and it's Ødegaard. For a few reasons. First of all, this season, Ødegaard's on more points, which is what matters. But also he's higher on expected goal involvement over the season. So his underlying numbers are slightly better. The other thing is that Arsenal signed Trossard in the January window. So there's a chance that that eats away at Martinelli's minutes, I think. Maybe not significantly, because Martinelli is the better player and he's been absolutely quality, but Arteta does have that option to bring on Trossard if he wants to later in the game, whereas Ødegaard's likely to play the full 90. So for me, it's Ødegaard all day, not even close. They're both good picks though. Surprisingly, people are selling Martinelli, mass selling. I think that's an overreaction. I know he's blanked for like 2 games in a row, but I'm not sure I'd be selling unless it's to go to Ødegaard or something like that. But that's a pretty luxury transfer. Duncan says, thank you. I can't afford Edison over Ward, but then which player for Ake for blank game week 25? Game week 25. Let's have a look at the fixtures again. So it's Brentford, Brighton, Man United, Newcastle at blank. So which fixtures are on again? Let me just look at who's playing. I'm going to try and go backwards to a defender that you could have. I mean, Tarkowski, I think he's 4.2 mil, right? He plays in 25, he plays in 28. 4.2 mil. Sean Dyche has come in, right? We know what kind of manager he is. Defence first. Tarkowski was a good asset back at Burnley. Could he be an option? There's not many other options. Yeah, I can't think of any others. That's the problem. I think he had... Did you have White? You had an Arsenal defender, so you wouldn't go there. If you didn't have an Arsenal defender, that would be the answer. But I think you had one, and I think you had Mings. So it's just who scores higher. Ward and Ake, or Edison and Tarkowski. It's close, but I'd be tempted to go for Edison just for the nailedness, right? Hard to say if Ake plays all games. I don't think he will. I think there's going to be a game here and there. Maybe here, like Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth. So I think if I was on a wild card, in fact I can say that with confidence, if I was on a wild card, I'd have Edison, I wouldn't have Ake. So maybe Tarkowski, 4.2 mil. Did I miss a super chat? Sorry, let me scroll up. What was it? Sorry I missed that. Ask it again. Sorry, Jeffrey. Yeah, ask it again. I'll just keep an eye out for it. Apologies, I missed that. Anyway, I haven't even talked about my transfer. In case you missed it, I had De Bruyne, and I've sold De Bruyne for Bruno. Who's my vice captain? Captain... Oh, it's Almiron. What? Let me fix that. There we go, Bruno. So yeah, Captain Rashford, vice captain Bruno. Ferguson or Nonto? Nonto. He's got double gimmick now. He plays in 25. He has a chance of playing in 28. Thank you for the super chat, Mark, as well. No message with that one, but thank you for that. I'm trying to spot Jeffries. I hate it when I miss super chats. I never do it on purpose, obviously. I'm looking out for it, Jeffrey. I'm trusting that you actually sent me one. That's because I'm looking for it. Felix says Almiron to Ødegaard, Mitrovic, or Mitrovic to Nketiah or Roll. Yeah, Almiron to Ødegaard makes so much sense this week. Yeah, I'd make that move. I think Ødegaard has to be a priority. I know Almiron's, it's a decent fixture home to West Ham, but he's been so disappointing since the World Cup. Absolutely flying before. This patch of form here was just ridiculous. 15, 7, 3, 10, 10, 12, 8, 6, 8, and then 4 blanks in a row. And his numbers have dropped off, his underlying numbers. So, yeah, I think it's time to get rid of Almiron. You can probably afford to keep hold of Mitrovic because he plays Nottingham Forest in Gameweek 23. Or if you want to sell him then instead for Nketiah, that's fine. But yeah, Odegaard is the one. Since downgrading De Bruyne to Bruno, I have enough money to upgrade Almiron to Mahrez in 23. Should I then get Mudryk in 25 for Bruno when United blank? So this, I'm on this dilemma as well. I think right now you don't have to worry about that because that's a game week away, right? So the two ways you can go is you sell De Bruyne to Bruno and then you go straight back to De Bruyne, or you use that spare money to move Almiron to someone else. And I'm on the exact same line of thinking as you. I'm looking at Almiron and I'm thinking I could get Mahrez, I could get Grealish, or I could just go Bruno back to De Bruyne. And at the moment I'm leaning towards just going Bruno back to De Bruyne. That's where I'm currently at. It is close because Bruno's been doing well. He's got Leeds and Leicester. I'm just not sure if I can trust Mahrez or Grealish, so I think I'll go back to De Bruyne. But yeah, Mudryk's one to keep an eye on as well. Obviously, if he does really well against Fulham tonight, then he's absolutely an option as well. But yeah, I think just wait a week. I haven't decided either, to be honest with you. I just want to see how this game week goes and then decide. You know, if Bruno does exceptionally well this double game week, it's going to be even harder to sell him, and then I might not. Thank you, Novus, for the 4 months. He says, hi, pick 3 from Shaw, Trippier, White, Shah and Bueno. So Trippier, I would start. White, I would start. It has to be Shaw. So the first 3, Shaw, Trippier, White. White doubles in 23. Shah doesn't. Share doesn't. And Share blanks in 25. So it'd be Shaw, Trippier, White. Thanks for the super chat, IBGG. Don't know if I said your name right, but thank you for that. IBGG. IBIGG. Zayab says play Mitrovic, Ake or Almiron. We had a similar one earlier, but we didn't have Almiron added in. I think between those 3, it'd be Almiron. Yeah, Almiron. I think this is Almiron's last chance for a lot of people, right? How many of you guys have still got Almiron? Yeah, I've still got him. I would love to have got rid by now, but these double game, it's kind of like they end up taking priority with your transfers, don't they? So I've had to go De Bruyne to Bruno, whereas I might have been moving Almiron by now. Hey, let's do a poll and see how you guys are leaning for captaincy. Who is your captain? So I guess the options are pretty much just Rashford, Fernandez. Maybe someone's going Haaland out there. I bet you he's still like over 100% EO. But maybe that's just dead teams. Get your votes in. Oh, typo on the question. Can I edit that? No. Never mind. Who's your captain? Captain or Game Week 22? Rashford, Bruno, Haaland or other? Tosdiv says, did you consider selling Kane instead of KDB? I didn't. The reason being is that I had 1 transfer, not 2. I can understand people, the temptation to do that. Also in my case, I had Nketiah already. A lot of people are doing that to sell Kane for Nketiah and then upgrade someone like Almiron to Bruno, which I think is a really solid pair of moves. And it lets you keep De Bruyne, who doubles in 23. It's just a gamble on how Kane does. But yeah, in my case, I had 1 free transfer, so it was pretty straightforward. KDB to Bruno, and I keep Kane, and I have to hope that Kane does well. I'm benching Edison, so it would be pretty good actually if Kane scored this game week. Moto Omar says, hey Oscar, Shaw, White, Trippier, Ake, Salah, Martinelli, Saka, Rashford, Mitrovic, Haaland, Martial, 2 free transfers. I can't afford Martinelli and Martial to Eddie and Bruno. I can't work out what to do. I don't think you can get to him. I think you might have to make... I would sell Salah. Just go Salah to Bruno. Alright? That gives you Shaw, Bruno, Rashford. Yeah, you just sell Salah. There's no reason to keep hold of Salah. Salah to Bruno, no brainer. Oh, but then you've got Martial, is that what you're saying? Martial, Rashford and Shaw. So then you go Martial to Nketiah. You're not triple Arsenal. Oh, you are. The only other option is you go Martial to Nonto or something like that. Because he's got double gaming, but yeah, I'm not totally keen on Nonto. Yeah, that's difficult. It's difficult to wrap my head around that one live. You want to go Martial to Nketiah. You want to go Salah to Bruno. What would you guys do with this one? He's got Shaw, White, Trippier, Ake, Salah, Martinelli, Saka, Rashford, Mitrovic, Haaland, Martial. You'd go Salah to Bruno, but then that triples you up on Martial, Bruno, Rashford and Shaw. I think you just have to make a transfer in defence. You could do like one of your defenders to Martinez or something like that. Sorry, I can't wrap my head around that one because it's like you've got triples up and triple up. The only other option is you go Martial to Nonto, and then that lets you do 3 moves from -4. I'd probably do that. I think it makes sense because Leeds don't blank in 25 and they potentially don't blank in 28, and they've got double now. Captain poll results: Rashford 84%, Bruno 10%, Haaland 3%, 2% other. Those of you that went other, who have you got it on? 2%. Yeah, I'm hoping Mudryk starts tonight. I'm really looking forward to watching him. He looked really good in his debut. If we get a leak actually tonight, I will let you guys know. If we get a Chelsea lineup early or anything like that, I will let you guys know. We might get some Chelsea news. I saw that Aubameyang didn't make the Chelsea Champions League squad, which is brutal. I suppose someone had to make way with all the signings they've made. Russell says he's doing De Bruyne and Kulusevski to Bruno and Ødegaard. Good. And keep Ferguson and play Cucurella. Or KDB and Kulu and Ferguson to Bruno and Nketiah and Mitoma. You're okay for 25. You'll sell Shaw for Moreno. De Bruyne to Bruno, Kulu to Ødegaard. I think I'd stick with the first combination. I don't think there's any need to take a -4 there. Yeah, the first 2 moves make perfect sense. I wouldn't take the -4. Leave it as is. FPL is more than a hobby. Love the username. He says, great content as always, Oscar. Have a Cola Zero on me. I've actually got Pepsi Max. What do you guys like more? Pepsi or Coke? Let's do a poll. I've always been team Pepsi, but I might be in the minority here. Pepsi or Coke? Well, Pepsi Max. So basically all types are covered under that question. So Pepsi Max, Diet Pepsi, Coke Zero, Diet Coke, etc. Water. Water's not in the poll. If you had to pick one. Dave, if I put a gun to your head and I said, what are you having? A glass of Coke or a glass of Pepsi? Unless you'd still double down and say water and die. You have to pick one. Right, so 41% Pepsi, 59% Coke. Neither, both are disgusting. Water is rubbish. Pepsi Twist? What the hell is Pepsi Twist? Water. Pepsi Max goated. Dr. Pepper's a good shout. He says, damn it, I meant Pepsi Max. That's fine. Yeah, I'm on the Pepsi Max for this stream. Mohammed says, are you not considering selling one of the goalkeepers anytime soon? No, I'm definitely not. I know there could be some difficult game weeks where they've both got good fixtures, and that has been a problem for me. But Edison's got a double in 23. I can play Edison in 25 against Bournemouth, which is when there's a blank game week. And Man City almost certainly blank in 28. But that's fine because Chelsea won't. If that makes sense. Right, let's have a look at the scout selection for game week 22. They have gone for Melia in goal. Back three of Trippier, Shaw and me. Midfielders: Bruno, Rashford captain, Ødegaard, Rodrigo, Mitoma, Haaland and Tony. They've had an absolute nightmare with Rodrigo. He's obviously out for 2 months now. But what do you guys think of the team? Rodrigo. Yeah, I know. They must have picked this team before the news came out that he's out for 2 months. Yeah, if they were redoing the team now, I'm guessing they'd have Nonto and then they'd go 3-4-3. Mitoma or Marsh? Mitoma. Yeah, it's not a bad team other than the Rodrigo injury. But I'm surprised they didn't triple up on Leeds. It's redone. FPL Black Box in the chat. Is that the actual FPL Black Box? Didn't realise Black Box tune into these streams. I tune into every Black Box. If you guys aren't aware of FPL Black Box, it's a really, really good FPL podcast. In my opinion, the best one. With Mark Summons and Az. Go subscribe to them. Really, really good. Check your super chat. Sorry, let me just end this poll first. The stream's falling apart. Right. Pepsi 36%, Coke 64%. What was the super chat? About the Pepsi Max. I have Edison in goal. Should I bench Kane or Botman? I wouldn't bench Kane if I had him. I definitely wouldn't be benching Kane. Unless your team is that good that there's no one else you can bench, but I wouldn't be benching Kane. I wouldn't think too much about, oh, I've got my striker Kane facing Edison. I wouldn't think that way. Because what if you start Edison, you bench Kane, and then Kane scores, then you've missed out on the points anyway. So I would start Kane and bench Botman if that was me. You can't be benching Kane. I mean, look at his returns this season, his consistency. And that's why it's going to be interesting to see how the next few weeks play out, because a lot of people are getting rid of Kane to afford Bruno. And you can't easily go back once you've made that decision. And for me, that's why I think it makes more sense, even though it's messy, to go from De Bruyne to Bruno, back to De Bruyne, if you're a person that owns both Kane and De Bruyne. Callum says my team is that good. Well, that is a massive headache, but I don't think I'd be benching Kane against anyone. Regardless of opponent, I wouldn't be benching him. Not that messy. Malcolm says focal. Malcolm. Will Cucurella start? I imagine he will. Chilwell's only just back in training, so I imagine Cucurella will start, but I think his days are numbered. Wouldn't be at all surprised if he starts rotating with Chilwell. Maybe from Gameweek 23, something like that. Quick look at the scout selection. Not scout selection, sorry, Kings of the Game Week. It's been a while since we've done an update on this. It was Haaland again who joined. If anyone hasn't got their guesses in yet, on Discord we've got a channel, Kings of the Game Week, where you have to guess who you think it's going to be. And then if you win, if you get it right, the top scorer of the game week, then you get a little exclusive role. Who do you guys think the top scorer is going to be if you had to guess this game week? So Haaland's had it 3 times. Ødegaard's had it 3 times as well. Cancelo's had it once, but we won't be seeing Cancelo again this season. So considering Martial is probably not going to play 180 minutes over the 2 legs because he's made out of glass. I think you mean glass, not class. Unless you think he is made out of class. Would you recommend benching Almiron for him? Yeah, if I had Martial, I'd absolutely start him. Yeah, you have to start Martial if you've got him. You're right. Over the two games, he might play in total 90, 100 minutes, something like that. But you can't be benching him when he's got a double game week. In isolation, even if it's like 90 minutes, like a single game, he's still a better pick than Almiron this week. But who knows? You know, maybe there's the off chance that he starts both games. But yeah, you definitely start him. Weghorst, Watkins, Rashford, Martinez, Kane, Bruno. Rashford, obviously. Yeah, it's got to be Rashford. Triple captain Rashford or Haaland next game week. I think Rashford this week. Let's run a poll. What's the better week to triple captain? Let's go for wisdom of the crowd, right? Let's see what you guys are saying. Rashford now. What? Rashford Game Week 22, Haaland Game Week 23. I'll do the third option later in the season. When it is best to use the triple captain. Let me know what you guys think. I probably shouldn't have given my opinion. Just ignore what I just said and give your honest opinion when you think's best. Emre says, what do you think about getting Bamford from -4? He also has a good game at 25, and with Rodrigo out, he seems like a safe pick with good upside. Not for a -4. I don't even think I'd do it for free. I know Rodrigo's out, and to be fair, Bamford did play in the cup and he scored. I don't think I'd do it. Not for a -4. And like I said, I don't think I'd do it for free. I mean, look at his minutes. 23 and 11, and then he didn't play for like 5 games, and then it was 38, 24, 64. I mean, there's a chance he does really well, but you have to see some consistency. I think you'll regret going for Bamford long term. I might end up eating my words, but I don't think I would do it. Not even for free. Oscar says, another Oscar, I think, or did I just super chat myself? And he says, V for Pepsi Max Cherry. I've got the exact same one in my fridge. I swear to God, this is me. Would you bench Kane for Dunk, or am I just mental? Nah, I can't see Kane scoring, considering the low amount of chances created since the restart, but obviously has a high ceiling. Honestly, I wouldn't bench Kane in any fixture. I wouldn't bench him, especially for Dunk. I know it's a good fixture for Brighton, but you can't bench Kane. Surely not. No, I'd start Kane, I would bench Dunk, first on bench. Brendan says, don't forget to thumbs up. Yeah, I forgot to ask the whole stream. If you guys have enjoyed the stream so far, hit like on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do live streams every deadline, and obviously lots of FPL content every game week to help you guys navigate the season. Alice says, can you say, welcome back for another video. He says, I need to hear it to focus. There you go, I said it. That's the catchphrase right there. Right, the question was, when is best to use the triple captain? 70% said Rashford Game Week 22, 17% Haaland Game Week 23, 13% later in the season. We'll do a follow-up poll on that. We'll say just a general, are you triple captain this week? Yes. Later. And used it already. White or Kukurea? White. Mitro to Bamford from -4. No, definitely not. I won't be taking a -4 for Bamford. Martinelli or Nketiah? Nketiah. What would I do? Let me mute Discord. What would I do if I had one more free transfer? I wouldn't do anything. I'm okay this week. My bench is looking a bit ropey. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I might just make a boring move like Doherty to Mings in Game Week 25 or something like that. Not sure yet. And then maybe my second transfer would be selling Almiron. But this week there isn't really anything. I think on paper it looks pretty good this week. So the poll was, are you triple captain this week? 46% yes. That's alarming. That's really alarming. I think Rashford's effective ownership is going to be over 200%, which is a shame for those of us that haven't got it active, because then you're actually rooting for Rashford to blank, which is a bit crazy really. 23% are going later in the season, 30% have used it already. Interesting. How long have we got? When's the deadline? Is it 6 o'clock or 6:30? Losing my mind. Oh, it's 6:30. Wait, what? Okay, so we just got under an hour till the deadline. Yeah, that is right. I think I've accidentally streamed for half an hour longer than I planned to, but that's alright. Never mind, we'll do it. James says, I used to triple captain on your guidance, FFS. Yeah, I regret Gameweek 20. It made a lot of sense, let's be honest. It made a lot of sense. And it wasn't just me, right? A lot of the top all-time managers. In fact, Fabio Borges, who up until very recently used it that week, it was a logical week to use it. But I also have to say, you have to own your decisions if you use it. Mitrovic or Ben Mee? I think Ben Mee. Mitrovic first on bench. Marcus is captaining Shaw to deal with the triple captainers. I honestly think Man United have a bigger chance of clean sheets than a lot of goals. That's an interesting take. Yeah, I mean, United are really, really solid recently defensively. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if they keep back-to-back clean sheets. So that would be 12 points minimum for Shaw. Maybe more if he gets some bonus. Let's say he gets 2 bonus, 14. Unlikely he gets an attacker in return, but he could. Does Rashford score more than 14? Very possible in his current form. I'd say Bruno's the second best option, not sure. Pratik says, Zinchenko good punt or stay with Gabi Saliba. He is a bit punty. I think Tierney could come in for a game. He's such a capable backup. He's obviously not on Zinchenko's level, but I think there's a chance that he comes in. You know, Zinchenko doesn't have a great injury record, so I would say stick with Gabriel. This season, Gabriel's top among defenders for expected goals, so I would go there personally. That's what I did. Michael says, is it worth doing Martial to Greenwood to fund Almiron to Fernandes for a 4-point hit? This allows me to keep De Bruyne and Kane. I don't think it is because of Gameweek 25. Because then you're going to have just there 4 players that blank in 25. I reckon you've got Trippier. You might have others that blank in 25. This is how the schedule looks. This is both doubles and blanks. So there's 7 teams that have got either a blank or a double. Or both, I think, coming up. Yeah, Man United are the one that have got both. So at least Man United have got double now. Arsenal and City have double in 23. And then in 25, Brentford, Brighton, United and Newcastle all blank. So I don't think I would do that for a -4. Because Greenwood then becomes another player that blanks for you. You're basically bringing in 2 players that blank in 25 for a 4-point hit. So I don't think I would do that. I think I would probably be selling De Bruyne instead. Reluctantly, which is what I had to do as well, to be fair. Dimitri says, I've got Bruno and Nketiah for De Bruyne and Martial. Tempted to -4 to sell Almiron to March and Mitoma. I'm not worried about the blank Gameweek 25. Do you think it's worth it? Not for a -4. I would do it for free, but not for a -4. Especially if you're not worried about 25. But yeah, not for a -4. Oh, Sean, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Unbelievable. Thank you, Sean. Those went to Kirill, Joachim, Pavilas, CM Kelly and Joshua. Shout out to Sean. Thanks Sean in the chat for that. Thank you, Sean, for the 5 gifted. And General Dan says James and Mitoma or White and Mahrez. James? No, not James. I don't think James will start tonight. And I mean, twice this season he's picked up injuries. Twice this season I've had to sell him because of injury. So I would be going for James. White and Mahrez. And also on top of that, White and Mahrez double in 23. James and Mitoma don't. Yeah, thanks for that, Sean. Should I start Doherty this week for the memes? May as well, right? Give him a send-off. Gutted about that. First it was like they're signing Porro. Is that his name? And I was like, oh, that's annoying because he's going to be first choice. And then it was like he's going on loan to Atletico Madrid. And I was like, well, that's really bad. And then it was that his contract's been terminated. So, yeah, that was a terrible transfer, Doherty, I have to say. But I was selling Cucurella, and it was when there was a double game week. But yeah, it was a bad transfer. Malboa, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, Malboa Gaming Arena, for the 10 gifted. Those went to Sharbit, Harry, Alexander, Anmar, Sam Pleasure, Yet Yong, Casper, Kieran, Rome, and Ghent, and Razvan. Thank you so much for the support there, Malboa. Appreciate that. Unbelievable. What a stream. Duncan says, me again, Soz. Not happy. Kepa to Ward. And Ketty instead of Nonto. And Saka to some fodder Leeds mid. Should I not bother with Mahrez? So Bruno to De Bruyne. Hang on. Maybe I'll just do like a wildcard draft. Would that be better? How my team would look if I was wildcarding. So it would be actually very close to how it is now. I think no, not Mahrez. Would I go Mahrez? It's just the 5th midfielder here. So this would be Mings. I think this would be Tarkowski. If this is if I was on a wild card. And then 9 mil. It's whether to go Mahrez. Probably that. Or maybe you skip the Arsenal defence entirely. I think it'd be Mahrez. It's a bit expensive in goal, but I think it's okay. Maybe go for Melia. Hang on, Kepa. No, I think I'd leave it like that. Hang on. Yeah, I think I'd leave it as Kepa and Edison to rotate. That 1.3 mil on the bank. I think if I was on a wild card, it'd look like that, Duncan. I don't think there's anything I would change there. That's how I would line up. So I'm actually not far off that of my current team. I've just got a couple of bench issues to sort. The only 2 question marks is Mahrez or not, because you could go for a slightly cheaper mid, and then that leaves you with the money to go Bruno to De Bruyne. It's hard to think about a wildcard on the spot because there's so many permutations to factor in, but you look okay for 25 with this team because you can sell a couple of players like Shaw. You've got like Mings who plays in 25, Tarkowski does. They both play in 28 as well. And obviously triple Arsenal play in 25 and 28. Hopefully that helps. Something like that if I was on a wild card. I know, what a legend. Thank you for that, Malboa. The only 2 question marks in the team would be whether to get Mahrez or not, because then that does leave you the money to get De Bruyne. So you just have to go with your gut on that one, whether you want to accept the headache that Mahrez brings you or not. Oh, it's Harry Feldman. Oh, okay. Thank you, Harry. You're rebranded to Malboa Gaming Arena. Okay. I'll bear that in mind. I didn't realise. And thank you for the 3 months as well. I wonder where you'd been. Alex Money says, should I -8 to swap Walker for Shaw and Martial for Nketiah? Oh, you know what? I'd actually be very tempted. I probably wouldn't do Martial to Nketiah. I would just take a -4 Walker to Shaw. Walker to Shaw makes a lot of sense. I think Walker's going to be a massive rotation risk all season long now. His days are over from an FPL perspective, unless he leaves City. Rico Lewis might actually be first choice now. So I would do Walker to Shaw. If that uses up... If you're saying that you're tripled up in United already, and you have to get rid of Martial, then I'd probably do that as well. Unless you have someone good you can play. I think it's actually worth a -8. I think Martial doesn't play in one of the 2 games. Maybe bench for one, starts the other. Comes off the bench maybe. Yeah, I actually think that's a justifiable -8. You've got Nketiah, who has a good game this week. He has a double in 23. You're getting rid of Walker, who's deadwood. Shaw doubles. I rate it. Neil Oliver says, love the music, Phil. This is actually my cousin, this song. He's on Spotify. He's called Wilding. The song's called Box and Meet Canvas. Yeah, I found out the other day that he makes music, so I asked him if I could include it in the playlist, and he said, Of course, so he's in the playlist. Who's my captain? Rashford. Bruno vice captain. Thank you, Pratik, for becoming an fplfocal member. Thank you for that. Appreciate the support. If anyone needs a hand setting up the Discord sync, just drop me a message on Discord. If you're a member, you get access to a private channel on Discord, which is where I drop links to all my videos early, so you get early access. I always you guys probably know this already, but UK time, I always upload my videos around 11, 12 o'clock, because apparently, according to analytics, that's when most of you are on YouTube, or it's the most active time. So if I do a video the night before, then I just think, why not just share it with the members? So that was a nice little perk I added in. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, become a member. It's the join button below the stream, or there's a link in the description. Right, what else have we got to talk about? Let's have a look at the most transferred players just quickly, heading into this double game week. And top is Bruno. Just over 1 million have brought him in now. It was about 900k before we went live, so that's rising by the minute, by the second. Shaw is second for 733,000 transfers in. Mitoma, Rashford, Nketiah, Odegaard, Saka. Yeah, Mitoma's such a difficult one because I really want him in my team. Good fixtures, he's absolutely flying right now, in form. It's just that blank in 25 that makes it tricky. Because, as we said earlier, there's 4 teams that blank in 25, which are Brentford, Brighton, Man United and Newcastle. So you have to look at your team and just work out how many players you've got blanking, whether you can afford to go for a player like Mitoma. I personally couldn't in my team, but yeah, if you're a bit lighter on these blank gaming players, or you don't have injuries like I do, I've got Doherty to deal with, for example, then yeah, he's worth consideration. Most sold, I wonder if this is a record. 1.39 million have sold Cancelo. Almiron's second, 675k. Martinelli in third. Mitrovic, De Bruyne, Salah, Foden, Andreas Zaha. I read earlier Zaha's out for a few weeks, injured. Rodrigo obviously out for 2 months. Trossard, this must be people that had him when he was at Brighton, and now they're like, well, I have to sell him because I've got quadruple Arsenal. Eric says Mitoma or Odegaard. I have Martinelli. Odegaard, 100% Odegaard. Yeah, that one's an easy one because he's got a double game week and he doesn't blank in 25, whereas Mitoma has a single and he does blank in 25. Harry says, you're most welcome, brother. Martinelli to Rashford, or should I rather go Salah, Castagna out and Rashford and Shaw in? It depends if you have a way to get in an Arsenal player back in 23. I don't mind going Martinelli to Rashford. Have you got... Hang on. What about if you did Salah and Martinelli to Bruno and Rashford? I think I like those 2 moves the most, if you can do that. Otherwise, I would do the second move. I would do Salah and Castagna to Rashford and Shaw. I'd prioritise that, to be honest with you. Because if you go into this game week without a Man United defender, or without Shaw, and you go without Rashford, then it could be a brutal game week. So I would prioritise that. And luckily, Man United have got a couple of nice fixtures before the blank, so it's not like it's a 1 week pick. So I'd go for the second option. Is Bruno a must-have? He's not a must-have, but it's a really good double game week. Since the restart, Crystal Palace and Leeds are 19th and I think 17th for expected goals conceded. So really, really bad since the restart. Which is a decent enough time range now to look at player form and that sort of thing, or team form. Both player and team form, really. You want the clean sheet odds? Okay, we'll pull that up next. So he's not a must-have, but I think it's a double game week worth tripling up on Man United if you can. You know, I think my plan moves is a good example of that, because I've gone De Bruyne to Bruno, and I'm going to probably go Bruno back to De Bruyne. That's how That's how much I valued Bruno for this double game week. This is the clean sheet odds, and this is combined for the teams with a double game week, so Man United and Leeds. And essentially it's their odds of keeping one. So Man United's 72% chance of keeping one or more clean sheets. Is Rodrigo injured? He is, yeah. Unfortunately, he's out for 2 months with an ankle injury. Is Mudryk going to start? I haven't heard anything on Mudryk. If we get any leaks, I'll let you guys know. The deadline was 6:30, wasn't it? Not 6. We haven't got 5 minutes. We've got 35, right? Yeah, no leaks on Chelsea yet, but I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, nothing at the time. At the moment, I was going to say at the time of recording. That's something I'm used to saying in videos. If anyone wants the goal scorer odds, I'll quickly pull those up as well, because those are combined for the double game weeks. For Rashford, Bruno, etc. Rodrigo, obviously irrelevant now. I made this graphic before he got injured, or before we knew about it. Brace DeVille says, love the username, he says, triple captain Rashford this week or Haaland next. Thanks. If I still had the triple captain chip, I would be using it on Rashford this week. Yeah, I think it's a better opportunity. It's easy to be swayed by a player's price, right? You look at Rashford and you're like, what is he, 7.2 mil? And sometimes you can like downplay a player just based on their price, and that's like a psychological thing, right? It's easy to do when you're looking at a player price and thinking, oh, maybe it's a waste to use it, but I think it's a better. Honestly think it's a better week than 23. So if I had the triple captain, I'd use it now on Rashford, not in 23. And as I was saying at the top of the stream, right, Aston Villa have actually been really solid under Emery. I think they've won 5, drawn 1 and lost 1 since he came in. Something like that. Their loss was against Liverpool. So I don't think that's going to be a walk in the park, even though it's at home. And then Arsenal obviously will be tough as well. So I think Rashford is the better. Hope that helps. Kieran says -4 Rashford. -4 shorten for Estepinian or Cucurella. Cucur on the bench. It would be, I think, Cucurella. I know Estepinian's got a blank in 25, but I'd say Cucurella. Chilwell's back in training. I think Cucurella's days are numbered, and he's not been good anyway, to be honest with you, so I'd say Cucurella. We're talking about the future doubles and blanks earlier, and there's a very strong chance that Brighton double in 26 or 27 as well. So although you lose a fixture in 25, you get it back in 26. You might even get 2 back. You might get 1 in 27 as well. This is because Brighton already have 3 postponements, which is more than any other team. But also, they're likely to blank in Gameweek 28. So they're going to have lots of postponements. Basically, they could end up getting 4 or 5. So the Premier League have to reschedule the Brighton fixtures. Really, there's a bit of pressure to do that. So yeah, this is something to keep at the back of your head, that Brighton might end up doubling in 26. Any early Reece James news? Nothing on James other than he's back in training. I think Potter said he's not ready to play 90. Here's the update. Reece James, Chilwell, Sterling and Loftus-Cheek are back but can't play 90 minutes tomorrow. So this was an update yesterday ahead of tonight's game. So they're back, but that's all we know. Mount to Harrison. I don't think I'd make that move. Mount to Harrison? Probably not. Unless we get a leak that Mount's out, then I wouldn't do it. Oh, Joe says Shaw -4 for Patterson and bench Mitrovic. For Patterson. The difficulty of Patterson, right, is he plays in 25. He should play in 28, which is when there's going to be lots of teams blanking, right? You want him for this, and you want him for this. Chelsea, to be fair, is going to be a tough game, but you want him for 25, because we're going to have a lot of players blanking. We just don't know whether he's going to be back and comes into Dyche's first choice 11 or not. His ETA is the 18th of Feb, so that's Gameweek 24. It's cutting it fine. I probably would do it. I'd probably do it and then bench Mitrovic. But you're not saying that you'd have to start Patterson this week, are you? So I suppose it also depends on who you'd have to start if you didn't get Shaw this week. But yeah, I probably wouldn't want to go into this week without any Man United defensive coverage. If you've got someone like De Gea or someone like that already, maybe Martinez or someone else, then I would I'd swerve it. But otherwise, yeah, I would do it. Share or Botman? I think Botman, just because he's that much cheaper. White or Share? White. Triple captain a must-have. It's not a must-have, but I would use it now if I had it. Oh, they've just released an updated scout selection. Let's see who they've got. Oh, here we go. Oh, it was basically what I said earlier. They've just changed Rodrigo to Nonto. Here's the scout selection. They've got Melia in goal, Trippier, Shaw, me, Fernandes, Rashford, Ødegaard. Oh, my lights just went off. I just got this. Has anyone got Philips Hue? I just got Philips Hue accessories, but I haven't properly configured it yet, and I think it goes off if there's no activity for an hour. There's like there's a motion sensor in the hallway. How do I turn this back on? There we go. Bloody smart bulbs. There we go. Oh, what? It's gone off again. What? It's gone pitch black. Bloody smart bulbs. What have I done here? There we go. On. Stay on. It turned itself off when I turned it back on. Alright, I'm not touching that. I'll just leave that there. Leeds news. The only news that I can remember is that Rodrigo is out for 2 months with an injury, ankle injury. Thoughts on Bamford? Yeah, I've seen some people talking about him. I just don't trust his minutes. I don't trust him as a long-term pick either. I think right now you've got to be picking up players that you trust long-term. Because we've got the blank in 25, there's a blank in 28 later on. I think if you bring in Bamford, he's going to end up leaving your team in a few weeks. So I wouldn't, personally. You know, unless you're in a position where you can be doing like Bamford this week and then moving straight on for Nketiah. Kieran says, back again, start White or Estepinian. Great stream. Thanks, Kieran. I would start White between those two. Let's have a look at the clean sheet odds, what they were saying there. Arsenal, 51.5% chance. They're actually tied, Arsenal and Brighton. That's interesting. I didn't expect Brighton to be so high. They haven't kept that many clean sheets under De Zerbi, have they? I think White, personally. I would go White. Test says, hello from Japan. Should I sell Martial to another United player? I already have Rashford and Shaw in the team. I would only sell Martial if I had 2 free transfers. And if it was to bring in Bruno or Rashford. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. So if, for example, you can go Martial to Nketiah, and then that frees up a transfer or a third United spot to go, you know, Almiron to Bruno, maybe Morris to Bruno, something like that, then I would do it, but otherwise I wouldn't do it. I would just stick with Martial. Shout out to everyone tuning in from Japan, by the way. Where are you guys tuning in from on this deadline stream today? Let me know where you're from in the chat. Tatenda, thank you for the 5 months. Says, thinking behind picking Rashford over Bruno for captaincy. I think it's just impossible to look past Rashford's form, right? He's arguably the most informed player in the world right now. He's unbelievable recently. I know you could argue that he's had an easy run of games, you know, like Forest, Wolves, Bournemouth. He's had some cup games against lower league opponents. But you could also argue that this is a pretty decent fixture pairing, so there's every chance it continues. He's the goal threat. Bruno's a good option, but he's more of the assist threat than pure goal threat like Rashford. So it has to be Rashford in my opinion. Norway, Thailand, You're the best, thank you. Saudi Arabia, Zambia, Copenhagen, Kenya, Australia, India, Faroe Islands, Switzerland, Canada, Derby. I love all the countries, and then you just got zombies. It's just like Derby. France, Singapore, Tunisia. Best track on the playlist. Yeah, that was a tune, that one. That was The Grid by Harris Heller. It's all copyright-free music. Shout out to Harris Heller, who makes this free music for streamers to use in their streams. I think it's a bit better to have background music than just sitting in pure silence. South Africa, Sweden. Trippier on the bench. Yeah, I thought in fact, I need to take a screenshot and tweet this. I'm giving Doherty a send-off before he leaves the team. He's had his loan terminated or whatever, so his contract terminated. Game week 22. De Bruyne to Fernandes. If you're not following me on Twitter, by the way, at fplfocal, same on Instagram, same on TikTok as well, but I don't post on TikTok, to be honest. There we go, done. Simple. Scenes when Spurs re-sign Doherty. No, I was going to make a joke about Porro getting injured, but I won't go there. Bale, I bought. FPL Vision says start White or Botman. I would start White. He was ahead on the clean sheet odds, so I'd start White there. Will Martial start? I imagine he starts one and he's benched for the other, something like that, if I had to guess. This is the problem with Martial. He was back in the Cup against Nottingham Forest a few days ago. He was on the bench that game and he came on and scored, to be fair. So I would, if I had to guess, I would say he probably starts one and not the other. Maybe Weghorst starts one. Connor says, who to start, Martial, Cher or Martinelli? You have to back Martial. I know his minutes are a doubt, but you have to back him with a double game week. And as I was saying, a few days ago he came off the bench and scored, so even if he's benched for one, there's a chance he comes on and gets something, so you have to start Martial. That's a hell of a bench though. Probably have Martinelli first on bench, Cher second. Right, how long have we got? 23 mins. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream so far. If you have, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. I hate to ask, but it makes a massive difference when people like the streams. It's what the YouTube algorithm uses to decide whether to push content or not, as well as other things, but yeah, that's why I ask in my videos. So yeah, thank you for that. Tai Truong says, Mahrez and Estepinian or Zinchenko / Gabriel and Almiron. Can you not afford Mahrez and White? I rate that even higher, because White doubles and then doesn't blank in 25. Mahrez and White, if you can get to that. I wouldn't be bringing Almiron in if that's what you're saying as well. And between Zinchenko and Gabriel, if you can afford Gabriel and Mahrez, even better. If you can't afford that, White and Mahrez. Kukurea or Tony? Tony. Why Trippier bench? Trippier will come on. Doherty's had his contract terminated, so he unfortunately won't be playing in the Premier League again this season, so it's pretty bad banter, to be honest, but it's one of those things you can do. I could do it with Patterson as well. I could put Patterson on for Gabriel, because Andreas won't come on. You have to play a minimum of 3 defenders, so it'd be Trippier that comes back on. Triple captain Doherty. Yeah, I mean, I could, again, you can if you go like Doherty captain, Rashford vice, but again, it's just pretty stupid banter, isn't it? Because like, what if Rashford gets injured or something, and then you literally have 0 points? Barrett Trailer says start Almiron or Dunk and Sanchez or Ederson. I think I would start Dunk. Just about. That's really close though. It's just Almiron's drop-off has been so massive. Since the restart, he's like 47th among all players for expected goal involvement. It's such an unbelievable drop-off that everything points towards starting Dunk, so that's what I would do. Sanchez or Edison? Sanchez, 100% Sanchez. Brighton were joint second on the clean sheet odds, so it has to be Sanchez. Start Almiron or Mitrovic? That's tough as well. I think Mitrovic, just about. Let me know, chat, what you would do there. Start Almiron or Mitrovic. Almiron's got the better fixture, but Mitrovic is the main man. He's on penalties. He's dropped off a little bit recently, but I think Mitrovic. What's the plan, bro? I've already made my transfer. I went De Bruyne to Fernandes. One transfer. I'm going to have a long and hard think about what to do in 23. I'll either go Fernandes straight back to De Bruyne, or I've got loads of money in the bank to do Almiron to Mahrez or Grealish, something like that. I'm not sure which way I will go yet. What do you guys think? The problem is Bruno's been really good. Look at his consistency since the restart. In fact, he's returned in his last 5 games in a row. And he's got Leeds. He plays Leeds again, back-to-back against Leeds, and then Leicester. Really good games. So there is the option to keep Fernandes and then move Almiron on. Because then you can still get a City doubler. You're getting rid of Almiron, who blanks in 25, and you're keeping Bruno. But then you're banking on Mahrez or Grealish or someone like that actually playing their games, whereas De Bruyne is like the more reliable one for minutes. Duncan says Saka and Nonto or Harrison and Nketiah. Saka and Nonto, 100%. You fear the City players because of Pep Roulette. Kane or Martinelli? Kane. Almiron or Estepinian? I think Estepinian. Yeah, I think Estepinian. Brighton joint second on the clean sheet odds, plus he's got the attacking threat. I think he's actually picked up a few assists recently. Thank you, Brian, for the 5 months. He says, I went Robertson and Almiron to Fernandes and Dunk. Great moves, I like it. I'm sure you're aware that Brighton had the blank in 25, but Bruno's a good move. To be fair, Brighton could double in 26, so good moves, I like that. Just quickly, if anyone's not in the fplfocal Discord, I'll chuck a link in the chat. A really good FPL resource. We've got things like the price changes, it's got the lineups, all automated. You've got the live scores, you've got live points, bonus points, Gameweek stats, injury update, deadline alerts, and loads more. And you can pick which alerts you want to receive. So, for example, if you wanted to receive the price changes every night on your phone, and you just go to the channel there and click that. There's a link in the description, but I'll put it in the chat as well. I'll pin it temporarily. Join the... It's totally free as well, by the way. Join the fplfocal Discord. There we go. Right, how long have we got? 15 or so minutes till the deadline. Let's pause, have a breather, take a sip of our Pepsi Max. Or Diet Coke, I think, won the poll earlier. Is there anything else that I should poll, like Pepsi or Coke? What should I poll? We've got 1,693 here, so we can run a live poll on anything. What do you guys want as a poll? Casemiro or Fernandes? Fernandes. Saka or Ødegaard? That one's close. I would say Ødegaard. I think Ødegaard's actually slightly ahead of Saka over the season for expected goal involvement. And I think actually for double-digit hauls, there's a really good website, Fantasy Nutmeg, and they track double-digit hauls. Check this out. This is double-digit hauls this season. So Haaland's got 7, Ødegaard's got 6. Rashford, Kane, Almiron, Tony and Salah have got 4. And then where's Saka? I think Saka will be way down. I think he's got 1. There he is. Saka's got 1. So perhaps Saka's the more consistent stream of points, whereas Odegaard's a bit more explosive. He really fits the BPS system well. He tends to pick up lots of bonus as well. I think Odegaard. Start Shell or Martinelli. Big up Focal. Thanks, Connor. I would start Martinelli. Dominoes or Five Guys? Are those the best 2 takeaways we can poll? We don't really have like many Five Guys in England though. That's more of an American one, isn't it? The greatest British midfielder. What are the options there? Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes. Who's the 4th? There's too many. Start Dina or Mitrovic? Mitrovic. I don't think Dina even starts. Mitrovic or Martinelli? Martinelli. Mitoma or Almiron? If that's who to start, Mitoma all day. Nando's or KFC? Best London tube station? It has to be something I can ask with 4 options. There's about 200 tube stations, so it can't be that. That's it, the best tube station is Arsenal. Or Tottenham Court Road, depending on which part of London, which part of North London you side with. FPL's more than a hobby says, what's my rank goal this season? I would be happy with top 100k. I mean, last season was a massive green arrow. It's been by far the worst start to a season I've ever had. By far. I always keep track of my Gameweek ranks throughout the season, each season. It sounds like such a loser thing to do, but it's quite useful to, or interesting at least, to look at your past seasons and see how you're faring compared to various points in the past. And this is by far the worst season I've had in terms of start. There's a long way to go though, so I think I'll start there. I'll say top 100k. Top 10k is out of sight now. I think I would just be happy to write this season off with a top 100k finish. It'll be a pretty uninspiring season, but it'll be a decent enough notch in the belt if I came top 100k. What about you guys? What's your season targets? Where do you guys want to finish this season? Realistic from where you are. Don't say like rank 1 if you're like rank 1 mil. What's your season goals right now? Is Mitrovic a good pick? No, I wouldn't say so now. I think Nketiah is the best budget. Felix says top 100k, top 10k for Eskil. Oliver wants to come 500k. It's pretty varied. Nathan wants to come top 50k. Quite a few top 10ks. Yeah, if you're 500k, top 100k is a really good target. You could end up coming a lot higher. You could come like 50k from there. I mean, top 10k is doable from 1 million right now. You just have to have an absolutely incredible second half of the season. Wow, top 15k already. You want to come top 1k. Top 1 mil, top 2k. Valentin says, Porro thoughts. Yeah, I'd never heard of him until Spurs signed him, but I did have a look at his history, and he's a really attacking wing back. Looks like he'll fit Spurs perfectly in that right wing back slot. He'll be first choice. I think even this season he had something like 2 goals, 6 assists in like 15 games. So yeah, obviously that's in the Portuguese league, but yeah, he's one on my watch list for sure because he's only 5 mil. I thought he'd be 5.5 mil. Is Mitrovic a good choice? We just answered that one. I would say no. I would say he's not a good choice. Oh, is that actually you, Mark? Are you 3.2 mil now? I think I remember seeing you had a stellar Gameweek 21, right? 97. Unbelievable. So what have you done this week? I'm guessing you've gone Salah to Bruno, Mark. Because that gives you Rashford, Bruno and Shaw. Oh, you have Doherty as well. I don't know what I'm going to do with Doherty. I think I'll end up making one of the most boring transfers in FPL history, which would be Doherty out and Tyrone Mings in. I think I'll end up doing something like that. Carlos says, great stream. Boatman or Mitrovic to start. I'd start Boatman. I'd start the Boatman. Yeah, I'd start Boatman over Mitrovic. Triple captain Martial, definitely not. If you want a triple captain this week, it's got to be Rashford or Bruno. Martial's a massive minute stout. I wouldn't be going Martial with triple captaincy. Any Chelsea leaks? I don't think so. Let's have a look. Nah, nothing. How long have we got? 10 minutes till the deadline. Cucurella or White? White. Reece James. Not for me. I want to see him start a lot of games in a row before I consider it. In fact, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. So I just want to put up this graphic one more time. This is from Mikhail Tokvam on Twitter. He's projected the number of fixtures for the rest of the season, how they'll fall in, where the blanks and doubles might be. Some of this is just predictions. Most of it is. Obviously, we've got the double in 22, 23. There will be 4 blanks in 25 that we know of now. That'll be Newcastle, Brighton, Man United and Brentford. There won't be any others besides that. But there will be potential doubles in 26 and 27 for Brighton. Now, that's going to be a tricky one to navigate because we've got players like Mitoma that we want. But you can see here, 0.08. So basically a 92% chance that they blank in Gameweek 28. So this is why, as boring as he is, some players like Tyrone Mings are actually quite tempting as like a 4th or 5th defender because where's Villa here? Villa have got, there they are. They've got oh, it's not going to have the fixtures. I think in game week 25 they play Everton, and then in game week 28 they play Bournemouth. I think that's it. So that's not a bad pair of fixtures. So that's when you might actually just want to call on a player like Mings, because I think personally there is the option to free hit in 28, but if you can field like 8 or 9, then I think it's worth scraping through, and then you're probably going to gain more if you free hit in 29, because look at 29, 31.95 projected fixtures, or maybe you use it in game week 32, or you use it in 34 or 37. I think you probably gain more if you can just scrape through 28 and use it in another game week. So that's why at the back of your head it's worth keeping in mind the potential blanks and doubles. Obviously Ben Krelin's the man to follow for that, but Mikhail Tokvam's good as well for that graphic. Right. So this is my 4th FPL season. My first season was top 4 mil, second season top 2 mil, and last season just outside 20k. And so far this season 1.8 mil, hoping for better days. There's a long way to go, to be fair, which is encouraging. Long way to go. You could easily finish well inside the top 1 mil from there, so I wouldn't worry about it. If it makes you feel better, I'm having a difficult season so far. Like I said earlier, my worst start, or my worst rank at this point in the season. I think on average I'm already around 200k by this point, or higher. So yeah, I'm having a stinker as well. There's a long way to go, so that's something we can take encouragement with. And we were talking about chips just then. That's where there's going to be opportunities to gain loads of rank. These double game weeks, if you can plan for the blank game weeks, you've got an edge over other managers. So hang in there. FPL1 says, Oscar, triple captain Rashford or Bruno, or triple captain 23 Haaland. So in my opinion, the best options in order would be Rashford now, probably then Haaland 23, and then Bruno now. So if I had it, I would use it on Rashford now. Max Pointer says, Tony to Nonto for -4, Tony blank and Nonto dub. Nah, not for a -4. I wouldn't do it. I would keep Tony. I think he's got an alright fixture this week. Doesn't he play Southampton? I forget who Brentford have got, but I don't think I would do that. FPL Black Box, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. If that's you, Mark, thank you so much for that. Appreciate the support. Grateful for that. Thank you, Mark. Those went to Ashwin, Randy, Ilyas, Jamie. and Ali Basha. Or is it Mark's son? I'm trying to remember Mark's son's name now. I think Mark's son's beating Mark at FPL this season. He's probably beating me as well. He's probably beating Az as well. But I know he likes to have fun on Mark's account as well. So I don't know if that's Mark or whether he's asked his dad for his card details and just gifted 5 subs. Hopefully we don't... There's no refunds on those, by the way. That's mine now. Bimo says, bench one of Martinelli, Mahrez, Tony and Nketiah. I would bench Mahrez. I would start Martinelli, I'd start Tony, and I'd start Nketiah. Yeah, unbelievable support this stream. Thanks to everyone that has gifted memberships, obviously the super chats, and just tuning into these streams even. I appreciate all the support. I was thinking about this last night. Do you guys ever just think about the most random stuff when you're falling asleep? And I almost tweeted this last night. FPL is definitely the best thing that's ever happened to me. I worked in IT for 8 years, and I've always been quite a creative person, but it's not the type of job where you can be creative. Just sitting at a desk doing just like IT admin, doing IT supports and reports and all that. And then I just had a crack at FPL, because why not? I read somewhere that a lot of people have what was it? It was Jordan Peterson. He said something about it, about how people have some potential in their genetic code that often doesn't come out until you push yourself into new situations. So there's a lot of potential that's just waiting to be unlocked if you throw yourself into a situation that's a new, unfamiliar one. And that was certainly like FPL. I'd never streamed or made videos even. I literally have no background in graphics or anything like that. I just, like you guys, just played FPL. Beanbag says, start Botman or Almiron. I think I'd start Botman. At this point, I think I'd start Botman over Almiron. Gain some points over the... You know what? Trippier... The thing is, like, Trippier, everyone's got Trippier, so if you've got Botman, then you're gaining points on the Trippier owners, those that just have one. But I did see that Bruno Guimaraes has picked up a 3-match suspension, so he'll be a big miss. So I think it's actually close between Botman and Almiron. I think I'd still start Botman, just about. I think I'd still give Botman the start. That said, it certainly won't be Shelvey that comes in Guimaraes' place now. Didn't he go to Forest? 3 minutes, 2 transfers. I haven't got any transfers to make. I'm done. So if anyone missed it, I did De Bruyne to Fernandes. That was my transfer. Ron says, good luck to everyone from Ethan. Thank you, Ron and Ethan. And good luck to everyone. Appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, it's nice to have some Friday football. Let's check if there's been any last minute leaks or any news on who starts. Reece James starts. Reece James starts tonight. If you got Reece James, do you start him though, or does he get 45 minutes? That's from Sam C345, really reliable guy on Twitter for leaks and whatnot. He says Reece James starts. So there you go. I'll keep an eye if there's anything else last minute. But Enzo Fernandez starts. Enzo Fernandez and Reece James both start. Wow. It's going to be a long night for Fulham. Fernandez comes straight in. Nothing on Mudryk. Enzo Fernandez starts, makes his Chelsea debut. Is that a record? That's a record signing in the Premier League, isn't it? What was it, 120 mil, I think, euros. Start Gabriel or Estepinian. Gabriel. Why is Trippier on the bench? He'll come on for me. Doherty won't play. It's just a bad joke. FPL Harry should know. He does it every week. I mean, I could do it with Patterson as well, but, imagine if Patterson's back in training or something. I'm giving Doherty a send-off, right? For all his services in the Premier League. What a great asset he was, by the way, back in the day. 2018 and 2019, when he was back at Wolves. He was 4.5 mil that season. 4 goals, 7 assists. Bench Trippier or Almiron. Bench Almiron. Don't think there's anything else. I think that's going to be the deadline. But Enzo Fernandez starts. Reece James starts. I wouldn't be surprised if Reece plays like 45 minutes though, if I'm honest. Anyway, once we hit the deadline, I'm sure you're all going to disappear. So before you do, please hit like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do these live streams every FPL deadline, and every week I make lots of FPL content to help you guys navigate the season. FPL is more than a hobby, he says, wishing everyone green arrows, unless you're around my rank. Appreciate that. I think I'm around your rank, so not me. But thank you for the super chat. And yeah, thank you for tuning into the stream, guys. It's been a really good one. Thanks for all the support, whether you just tuned in and watched, or whether you listened in the background, whether you donated some super chats and all those good things. Appreciate the support. Mudrick starts, does he? Mudrick starts. Yeah, there it is. Mudrick starts. Fernandez starts. Reece James starts. It's going to look like an unfamiliar Chelsea side tonight. Anyway, that is the deadline. So I think that's it. Is there anyone to raid tonight? Don't know if anyone's live that we can raid, or maybe we'll just call it a night. Who's live? FPL Father Ted. Should we head over to his stream? Go raid him. Really, really nice guy. He's just started making FPL content, so we'll all rush over there. Say hi to FPL Father Ted from me. Send him my love. Thank you for tuning into the stream, guys. As I say, appreciate your support. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not ready. And I'll see you over at FPL Father Ted's stream. Focal out.